Welcome to a special edition of my Comedy Jam Live. This is my Instagram Live where I'm giving to my community. If those of you who don't know me, we're going to be having a lot of new people here, and I like to welcome them. And I'm going to be introducing my special guest, who I see is already here, which I'm thrilled about. For those of you who are new to this, because this is at a different time, I'm Judy Carter, and I wrote the best-selling book out on the how-tos of comedy. I've trained some of America's top comedians, and that is because I wrote the Bible, the Comedy Bible, the New Comedy Bible, and my latest obsession is for you talented, friggin' funny people to make a living doing what you love. Because the gig economy sucks. Hi, the Joy Cray. Hi, everybody. So glad to have you all here. So making money being funny. I go through the internet and I love looking at comics who have interesting ways that they're making a living. And I came across, I hope I'm pronouncing his name right, Ellery Prescott. And I went, wait a second. This guy is making a living. He's a U.S. comedian, and he's making a living in Taiwan? What? And you know how great it is when you travel and you're doing gigs. That's what I'm so excited to tell you. We'll see if this happens. But I've been invited to do a workshop at the Budapest Comedy Festival. And then I went, hey, what the hell? I'm going to be doing workshops all the way through Europe. But here's a guy who, and we're going to find out, like, how did he do this? How did he go to a foreign country and establish himself as a headlining Taiwan comic? So I want to bring him up here. Let's see. Ellery, can you press that camera button and then I could bring you up here? After I speak to him, I'm going to be doing some coaching with all of you. Now, if this is your first time here, the way it works is what I want you to do. You're going to be bringing up some jokes, or you're going to bring up maybe an idea that you want to turn into a joke. And I do free consultations right here. I can't help you with your relationship. I suck at relationships, but I'm friggin' great at comedy. So that's what we're going to be doing today. So let's see if I can get Ellery to join here. Just 1 second. Ellery, is this you? Are you? Here you go. So we're going to be talking to Ellery. He's an American comic. He's a musician. He's a content creator. He has 71,000 views on TikTok. And look at him. He's adorable as well.
Hello, hi.
I love the hair.
Thank
Anyway,
you.
you're looking great. So, how the hell did you pull this off?
Well,
How the
first,
hell did you end up? Tell us about, like, did you go there with a plan? I think
sure.
you did it
Well,
before ChatGPT existed. So ChatGPT didn't, lay out a plan for you. What the hell did you do? Go ahead. It's
yeah,
all
thank you.
yours.
Well, first, I want to say thank you for having me, Judy, and it's a pleasure to talk with you today. I studied Chinese in high school and college, and then I moved to Taiwan after I graduated college because I wanted to keep learning Chinese abroad. So that was originally my plan, and I taught English and did various other jobs for about, let's see now, 14 years I've been here. So that's all I've
Wow.
done. And then I didn't
So
start doing
were you
comedy until
going
like,
for a weekend and then like
no, no,
14 years
no,
passed
no,
and
I wanted to live abroad. I'd studied abroad, so I wanted to live
uh-huh.
abroad after I graduated college. And I thought I'd live abroad for like a year or two. and then moved back to the States. And then I just stayed here because it was so wonderful. And I was like, why would I go back to the US? So,
Oh,
yeah.
wow. So how tell us like how did you get into doing comedy and were you doing it in the US because I know you do an assortment of things. You're doing some drag, you're doing music, you're doing sketch, you're doing a lot of different things. So
Yeah.
all funny by the way, but how did you get into this and how did you become so successful? Go ahead.
So during the lockdown, I downloaded TikTok as a joke, and then I just started making funny content online. And then people like the response to it was just like overwhelming. Like it was just insane. People were just like, more, more, please, more. You're so fun. And I was so overwhelmed because I was like, wow, this is the first time I've done something creative and gotten this kind of response.
Oh, so you
So
started on social media, not on like an open mic performing
no,
for comics.
it was really the social media thing that made me realize like, oh, because I grew up with two older brothers that were way funnier than me, so I never really thought of myself as all that funny. And then yeah, so I was just sort of like social media really launched that, and then I was like, well, can I be funny on stage? If I can be funny in a video, maybe I know they're very different things, but maybe I should give it a go. So then I went to an open mic and killed it my first try. And then I was like, well,
What?
I gotta keep going doing this more. And then about a year and a half ago, I was like, about a year, no, I'd say about a year ago, I was like, I'm gonna actually take this seriously and see how far I can go. So that's what I'm doing now.
Well, first of all, it's pretty amazing because a lot of headlining comics complain that they'll have a headliner who's an influencer and has a lot of followers, but bombs when they
Right.
try and do
Yeah,
it on stage. So
yeah, yeah.
how did you do that? How did you go from funny social media dude on TikTok to performing on stage and nailing it?
Well, I've watched a lot of stand up and I take it seriously and I know that it's hard. So I've always taken it really seriously. Like I've never thought that like, oh, just because you can make a funny video means you can do stand up. But that's not like, and so
Hmm.
with the open mics, like you go and you try things out and I'm a perfectionist. So I won't get up there and be like, let's see what happens. I'm not that kind of person. I'm like very controlling. I don't really do collabs because I'm too much of a control freak. So when I would like prepare my sets, I actually did this thing that was like actually not good, but also good at the same time. Is like be so controlling that I would have every single line perfectly like it was almost like I was getting up there and doing theater.
Right.
And then I had to kind of unlearn that. So that's what I've been doing recently is actually unlearning that holding it really tight and like letting go and being more natural up there. So
And leaving room for spontaneity. Is that what you're
yes,
talking about?
exactly. And maybe perhaps even talking to someone in the crowd. I mean, that's freaky.
Ooh, crowd work.
Whoa, that's freaky at the beginning. You're like, I can't do that. What if it goes, what if I can't control it? What if it's terrible?
That's
And because I'm such a
interesting.
control freak, it's like, yeah, that's been a process. So it's not, I don't want to make it sound like, yeah, I did well my first time trying it, but no, I had like I would say for a good year I was writing a lot of garbage and going up and thinking it was great and finding out that it wasn't. So it was this it's that's the honest truth. Yeah.
Oh, well, that's never happened to me or anyone here, right, people? It's like,
Right.
oh,
Yeah.
this is so friggin' funny. And then it's crickets,
Yeah.
and it's
And
like,
yeah.
I guess you had to be there. Anyway,
Right. Right.
but you kept going, and that's what's important.
Yeah.
I really
Yeah.
like what you're saying. And, those of you who are just coming in, by the way, we're talking about, and we're going to get there, is international comedy. How do you get gigs in other countries? And Ellery, am I saying your name
Yeah,
correct?
you're saying my name
Okay.
right. Yeah.
Ellery is going to give us some insider tips, hopefully, on how to do that. But I just want to comment about that. It was something that Gary Shandling said, who was the greatest comic. I love Gary Shandling. He gave me a quote for the front of my very first book I ever wrote. and you can actually see him now. They're playing reruns of the Gary Shandling show on HBO. But what he said is he writes material in between his jokes. So what'll happen, he'll be on stage doing planned material, it gets a laugh. And then if something gets a laugh, he made himself improvise
Right.
and just like go off of it and just come up
Mm,
with something else, like improvise, because he knows he's going to another thing that's going to work.
right.
I call that hammocking material. Like you have a post here,
Mm,
you have a post here, and or it's kind of like with the monkey bars, and you're holding on, but then you swing and you swing and you let yourself swing, and then uh-oh, this isn't working, and you'll go to your next joke. But leave room, people. Don't be like robo comic. All right, let's
right.
get to like the juice of this talk, and why I had you on is, how do we get international gigs? How do you, as a US comic, do you have to do your material differently? Do you have to like, I mean, I'm sure
So
you can't go, hey, what's up with New York? I mean, those of you,
yeah, so there's
yeah,
a couple,
Texas, what's with
right.
that? Right. So,
Well, there's a couple big things. The first one is that there's two scenes in, for example, in Taipei, Taiwan, there's two scenes. There's the local scene and then there's the English language scene. So this is true, I presume, in other places as well, that you have two scenes. You have the one that's in the local language, and then you have the one that's in English. So if you're doing, excuse me, if you're doing English comedy abroad, then your audience is actually a mix of locals and people who are either immigrants or they are expats or they're tourists or whatever. So when I go to an open mic and do it in English, because I do comedy in Chinese and in English, but when I do it in English,
wow.
the audience is going to be mixed. It's actually really hard because you have your audience is like people from Europe, people from the US, and then random Taiwanese people. And if you're talking about something really niche from the US, a Donald Trump joke or whatever, they're going to be like, what? Half the audience is going to be like, huh?
Who's Donald
And if
Trump?
you do, right, and if you, you'd be surprised. But in any case, if you do something that's really, I guess that's not really niche. That's true. But
Yeah.
something more like reference something from the Midwest, let's say, that's random, right? They
Mm-hmm.
won't know.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you do something that's super Taiwanese, like historical thing, the Taiwanese people will get it, and the foreigners, so to speak, won't. So that's like a really hard part. To answer your question about getting gigs, if you are going abroad, you're going to probably be not doing it in Spanish or German or French or whatever. You're probably going to be doing it in English. So you're actually going to be in this kind of microcosm within the country. And so it's actually a
Mm.
very small pond because there's not that many people. So it's actually very easy it's easier to get a gig in Taipei than in LA. Because the scene is very tiny. So, and I presume that that's the same for, Tokyo is one of the biggest cities in the world. But if we're talking about English comedy in Tokyo, it's not going to be insanely hard to get a gig in Tokyo. Does that make
Wow,
sense?
that is so good. I know when I was in Berlin,
Mm,
I did they had English speaking night at a comedy club, and I didn't realize that this was a phenomenon happening worldwide, especially
yeah.
that this administration has created so many more expats. I got to get out of
Right.
here.
Right.
But what I found when I did my gig in Germany,
Yeah.
um, was that I had to do it about being in Germany. I think I
Oh,
opened
yeah.
with, yeah, I think I opened in Berlin too. Yeah, I'm a Jewish comic. I don't see that many Jewish comics here. Did something happen?
Brilliant.
And then I talked about like, yeah, I had what a day I had. I went to the Jewish museum, to see my dead relatives. Then I went to concentration camp. And this is the last time I booked my travels through Kafka.com. That's it. I've had it. And so I found like, and then I remember having to explain to the audience, like, listen, people, I can do these jokes
Yeah.
and I give
Right.
you permission to laugh, because in Germany they're so
Yeah.
highly
They're pretty
conscious
uptight. Yeah.
and sensitive
Yes.
about the
Yes.
situation. So I found I had to
Yeah.
explain to them, now let's
Sure.
everybody come on, let it out.
Yeah, yeah, that they have that reputation. The German audiences don't really like to laugh very much. And in Asia, you have a very similar situation where people are too shy. I once had a woman clasping her mouth with both hands and going because she didn't want to let a laugh out because she
Oh,
was afraid
is
that the
that in
room
Taiwan as well as China? Is that
in Taiwan and China and Japan and Asia, in East Asia in general, it's a lot of the time laughing really loudly, especially as a woman, is seen as mm-mm. So
I
to
know.
laugh really
I've had
loudly in a
three
room.
gigs in China and I
Yeah,
bombed
sure.
terribly.
Yeah, and it's
But
people
then I
don't want to
found
laugh
out
out
nobody
loud.
spoke English,
Oh, well, don't. Well, yeah. So language, obviously, they're not understanding, and comedy is really high level if for a foreign language for to understand the comedy. Like even if you speak a language and you're conversationally fluent, comedy will still be difficult because comedy relies so much on references and whatnot. So
I have a personal question to ask you, not about me actually, self-serving question, I guess. My book has been published in Mandarin in Taiwan. They're ignoring my emails to tell me how many is sold. Have you seen
Mhm.
it? The
Well,
Comedy Bible
I haven't been
in,
in a I haven't been in a bookstore since January, so I can't. I haven't seen it.
but
But
maybe they have an Amazon of Taiwan or something. Anyway,
yeah, you can get books online. Yes.
yeah, so I was just wondering, because once I find out if it's selling a lot, I would love to come over and do a comedy
It
workshop
would be great to have you
through
here.
a
I would love.
translator.
Yeah, absolutely. That'd be great. And the thing is this the Chinese speaking scene is bigger than the English speaking scene, obviously. But
Yeah,
comedy in general is still very small here in East Asia in general. So it's new, it's like a newer culture of
yeah.
there's actually a very old culture of what's similar to stand up, especially in China. But modern stand-up comedy is a newer thing. So it's starting to become more popular in East Asia. So
I understand you do sketches and physical comedy, right? And is that because you're in a different country, or is that what you started to do and that's what you
well,
naturally
I
do?
only do the sketches. I only do that stuff through online. I don't. Well, that's not totally true. I've started to kind of make it a part of my show as well. I'm playing with this idea of putting it on stage more. But yeah, the sketches I do because I think it's a great way. I mean, a lot of my content that I make online is just reflecting Taiwanese people back to themselves. Um,
Can you
and they
give us
love.
an example
Yeah.
of so you're doing social media in
Yeah.
Mandarin,
Yeah.
correct?
Yes.
Wow. And so what sort of, takes, I guess, or what sort of things are you doing? I guess we're all
Yes.
going to go follow you and go look at it so we can
Sure. So
get
I
an
have like a
idea.
sure. So I'll take something that's like culturally interesting and then I'll exaggerate it for comedy's sake. So for example, Taiwanese politeness, while also being very bitter on the inside, but on the outside you're very sweet. I take that idea and then I'm like, okay, let's turn it up all the way to like 200, right? And just make it silly. Um, and so I've made all of these sketches. I've made at least like 15 now about being like a really sweet Taiwanese woman who's like telling some, but really telling someone directly how it is, but then like behind their back being like really
Oh,
angry,
what you're
but being really
thinking.
sweet. Right. So it's
And
sort
do
of,
you
and
play all the parts?
yeah, so I'll do like the boyfriend and then her. And then it's like the two of them back and forth complaining about this stranger. And then I'm going to go over and tell this stranger, but in the sweetest way possible, that they need to move their bag off the bus seat, because
So
that's not
you're
the right
doing
thing to do. That kind of thing.
Taiwanese observational jokes.
Observational, a lot of observational humor. And people really love it. And people, I just will stumble onto something. I'm always playing, and then I just see what people like, and whatever people like, I'm like, okay, we'll go in that direction, and so it's very much play.
Do you feel, being from the US, it gives you like a fish out of water perspective, and that you could see things that they can't?
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
this is
Mhm.
kind of weird what you guys are doing, right? That kind
Right,
of thing.
exactly, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, well, and when I started making videos, what, 5 years ago, I had already been here for 9 years. So I had observed quite a lot, almost a decade of time, learning
Oh,
the language, hanging out with Taiwanese people. So I was ripe with all kinds of, I mean,
okay.
first of all, I've studied Chinese for 21 years. That's
You got
very
to
long.
do something for me. You
What's
got to
that?
tell a joke in Mandarin. I know I'm
Okay.
putting you on the spot, so I'll just vamp and let you think about it. And while he's thinking about what joke he's going to say, we're not going to understand it because most of us don't speak man or understand Mandarins. But I think it'll be really fun to hear your like intonations
Yeah,
and
sure.
those anybody who wants to line up and get help with any kind of joke or idea or premise, please come up to the mic. There's a camera with a plus in it. You just press it. Okay. Do you have a joke for us
Sure,
in
but you're not
Mandarin?
gonna you're not gonna understand it, so I'm gonna do it and then tell you what it is after.
I guess. But first, I just want to hear in Mandarin. I want to hear what stand up comedy in Mandarin sounds like. Okay.
Sure. So I always open my show with saying, 我在台湾14年，然后我中文学了21年了。你在台湾这么久，大家都会觉得你中文学到这个程度，大家应该都会觉得一切会变方便吧？结果不是，你中文讲这么好，台湾人都会对你说：“阿兰，你会讲台语吗？”然后我就会觉得，我中文学了这么久，我现在还要学台语，中文不够吗？
So when Pukoma,
中文不够吗？我现在还要学台语，好烦哦。So I do this bit
oh
about
man,
how
no. What does that mean? Oh man,
so
no. I love that.
it is so annoying, like so frustrating. So basically, what it is I open with saying like I've been in Taiwan 14 years. I've studied Chinese for 21 years. When you learn to this level, you think everything gets easier, but no, Taiwanese people just go, so can you speak Taiwanese, which is the other language in Taiwan? The other main language in Taiwan, which is like once you actually speak good Chinese, then the next question becomes, okay, well, can you speak Taiwanese? And then I like to be like, well, can you speak? I want to see a Taiwanese go to the US. And then we're all like, well, can you speak our Native American languages? Oh, you can't. Oh, you can't. Neither can we. Neither can we. Yeah.
Oh my God. When you say, can we speak our
So a lot of
Native
the
American language, are you talking about Navajo? Is
yeah,
that
yeah, exactly. That's the next
okay?
part of
Not
the
the head.
bit.
Actually,
The
I
next part of the
know.
bit is like, yeah, yeah, is like, what about our Native American languages? Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. So, do you work? Do you have? Well, before I go on, I just want to say that uh, I think it's the language itself to me is funny.
And my mother says the same thing. It's
It's
very
so
funny.
funny. And when I've had students who are Asian comedians, and they do a joke about their mom, let's say, and I say like, "Well, act out your mom telling you," and they'll go, "Oh, put on a better outfit. You look so ugly in that." And I go, "No, no, don't do it in English.
Right,
do it, do it in
right,
the language she speaks in." And
right.
it's so funny. It's just funny to
It
my
like comes
ears.
alive almost in a way, and you can sort of imagine the person better as well. And then there's also something just
Yes.
innately comical about languages when you hear them and don't understand them. Yeah, that's a really good point. Yeah.
And I think especially Chinese Mandarin is kind of a um um
Mhm.
sometimes can be a very harsh language. So it's really
Sure.
I always thought it's so funny to like um uh, do a love poem in Chinese.
Right.
Because it sounds
Yeah,
like
every language
you're
has its reputation. Yes.
yeah, like German is that way too. It's
Right.
like telling a good good night story in German, but
Mm.
it's so good to hear other languages. So
Mm.
does anybody have any questions here? I know, let's see. Hi, those of you who haven't been here before. We have a lot of new people. Um that said, you can't laugh out loud. I'd be dead for sure. Abso-friggin-lutely. Anybody have any questions before we go? Anybody have any? What? Let me just put in the comments. Where are you traveling to next? Let's just put that out there, okay? Let's
Yeah,
put
so
that out there. Where are you traveling to next? Because and then we could talk about what would be your approach to going to a certain country. So anybody want to join in on a little play, or are you too busy making dinner or something? All right. Uh just bought your book, Judy. Came in yesterday. I'm excited to read it. Bert, you're going to do really well with my book, but you have to open it. So that's really good. You know, Ellery, it's so hard writing books for comics. That's why I'm so busy trying to record my Audible version of my new book.
uh,
And
uh,
and in
smart.
my new book, which is Making Money Being Funny,
Yes.
kind of a slow, shameless promo. Um, and by the way, thank you all for making my sales figures be so terrific. I so appreciate you. And I wrote this book for you because you deserve to make a living. Um, and in my book, I suggest, and I was wondering if this is in Taiwan, the same thing, is that here the clubs are so crowded and it's very difficult unless you're a celebrity of some sort to make a living working clubs. All right.
Right. Yeah.
Certainly, if you have a lot of followers and they actually can leave their phones and get out of the house, you're going
Yeah.
to do well. You could fill seats. That's good.
Right.
But I have found, and it's been my experience, and for many of my students, that if you get famous in a niche, like you are very clear, I'm a US comic in Taiwan. It's
Right.
given you an identity that I don't think you would have in the US.
Correct.
Like if
Yep.
you were in the US, what would your identity be, you
I
think?
would just be
Like,
another. I would just be another gay guy, just like every other one. It would be like you'd lose the. Yeah. The thing is I think everyone needs to have a persona or needs to have shtick. It's like you think about successful comics. They usually have something that is identifiable as like, oh, that's their thing. Like just take Margaret Cho, for example. She built her career on talking about her mother and doing impressions of her mother and her immigrant experience and blah, blah, blah.
she's
You take,
Chinese, right? She's
no,
Chinese,
she's Korean American.
Korean, Korean
You take
American.
like Wanda Sykes, her whole thing is just like, oh my God, isn't it ridiculous how blah, blah, blah. And that's kind of the comedic engine, right? And so I think if you look at any comic, you can sort of see that they have this identifiable persona and or what some people call shtick or thing.
Shtick is how they
Yeah,
okay.
shtick is like kind of an old
Shtick
word, but
I
it's
usually call the like you got some props on stage and I'm going to be doing the
yeah,
shtick,
yeah. But
right?
I think
You're
it's
talking about your persona essentially.
it's essentially persona. I'm just trying to use
Yeah.
different words to say the same thing, but
Yeah.
essentially that's what it is. So with me, when I'm doing Chinese comedy, like it's very clear, like, oh, this guy's on stage to talk about what it's like to be an American in Taiwan and tell us about us in a funny way, right? And
Yeah.
like that's very clearly funny and identifiable. And so it gives you kind of an advantage if you have that. Now, a local comic can have that too. His thing might be about something else or be like a very specific point of view or way of being on stage that people like. So I think
Yeah,
as a
like
comic,
Jeff
you have to find the
Foxworthy
balance.
did that. Jeff Foxworthy did, I'm a redneck. And he would be
Right.
again, it's the
Lean
fish
into
out of
that.
water. Yeah.
Right. Lean into you take Jessica Kirson is very, very popular right now with her crowd work. She comes back to the same comedic pillars. Being a lesbian, being Jewish, and being mentally having mental issues, can't get out of bed, loves to eat myself to death. Those are her three things. So she comes back to those constantly. Those are like her comedic engine.
I
So I
I
think like I
yeah.
don't know if you would agree or if that's in your book,
I
but I think
absolutely
like
agree.
yeah,
I
yeah.
absolutely agree. You're right. Another gay comic. You're booked all through Pride in June, and then nothing. Right? Yeah, and they don't pay.
Well, it's
I was asked to do a Pride event. It's like, wait, isn't this Pride? Shouldn't you pay me? That's not very prideful, not to pay. Anyway, um,
yeah.
no, I absolutely agree. And what I found fascinating is Jessica Curson is very popular in Saudi Arabia, and she traveled there at first class. And oh my God, I'm getting a signal we might be losing you. Um, absolutely true. Are you still there, or are we? Or is it my internet or your internet? Okay, let me see. I'll read some comments while we're waiting for his internet to come back. Terrell says, single language speaker feeling so inadequate compared. Yes, absolutely. Let's bring some people on. I know JJ has been wanting to come on while we're waiting for Ellery to fix his internet. Or maybe this is me.
Came back and
Yeah, I know. I
to
think
try
your
to fix
internet
the
just go.
thing.
Anyway, we're
Yeah.
gonna we're gonna wind this up. So in the end, suggestions when you come into a new place, at find an English speaking open night, because people are very intimidated of your ability to be able to speak two languages. So let's just sum this up. Number one, you come into a new town, you find an English speaking night. How do you
Yeah,
do that?
they're totally different scenes. So the main way that I would do it is I would try to find the community on through social media or through Facebook
Uh-huh.
and try to
Wait.
find search keywords and try to find the community through the people who are in it and then ask them where the open mics are.
Okay, 1 second, 1 second. Jackie just found a way to remove somebody. But I don't see his picture. I don't see his picture, Jackie. So I don't
It's
know.
very
Who is
odd.
this person? I know. It's just so
Very odd.
weird. Just give me 1 second.
Okay.
Just 1 second. I think this is someone named JJ. Just hold it. What is, I'm trying to see him in the chat. Um, I don't see how to do this. Maybe in the beginning
The,
here.
someone says tap the guest pick and remove.
Yeah, but I can't find his guest pick. Okay.
Mhm.
It's always something with, oh, here it is. Found it.
Are there two of me?
Remove from live video. Thank you.
There we go. Yay.
I thought it was, I thought it might be the Chinese government. But
Well,
anyway,
luckily they don't control Taiwan at all, so
I know. I
yeah.
know. It is. Well, let's not go there.
Let's not
And
go there. Yeah,
let's not go
let's
there.
skip that one. Let's save
Let's
it for
skip that
another
one totally. Okay, so
day.
we are going over, we're going to close this up now with some tips on for these comics. There are so many really talented people here, and I want you to encourage them that when they travel to a
Yeah.
foreign country,
Yes.
to like give them a little encouragement how to do this. Could you
Yeah.
please?
Yeah, you don't need to be embarrassed at all about being monolingual. It doesn't matter. When you go abroad, any country abroad, there's going to be two scenes in that country. There's going to be the local scene and then the English speaking scene. So they'll be thrilled to have a traveler or to have someone that's visiting. Once you find that community, you find out where the open mic is. Let's say you fly to Paris, Berlin, Tokyo, whatever. Find the club, find out when the open mic is, and go because those scenes are actually surprisingly small compared to the local scene. So, and the people, the comics abroad, well, we're always very like at the club in Taipei, like we're always excited to. Oh, where are you from? Oh, you're visiting from California. What's your thing? Like, why are you here? And what are you doing? And whatever. So yeah, come, go abroad, experience life outside of the U.S. It's
Can
amazing.
you be yourself? Do you come out? You mentioned you were as my grandmother would say, a homosexual. That's how she would call my
Yes,
Jewish grandma.
I'm. Yes, well, Taipei, Taiwan. Taiwan is a very accepting and open place, so that's absolutely no problem here. Obviously, it depends on where you are in the world.
But
But
Jessica
yeah,
Kirson played Saudi Arabia as a Jew and a lesbian. So I think
yeah,
that just about says it all. I
yeah,
have to get her on my Insta Live. I adore her. I
yeah.
have
She's
to. She told me
fantastic.
she started with my book, so I'm thrilled.
Oh, is that
So,
right? Wow. Amazing.
yeah,
Yeah, Sashi
yeah.
followed you. Yeah. Or follows you, I should say. But yeah, my advice, basically to wrap that up, my advice is uh to not be intimidated at all. There's no reason to be intimidated. No.
Just be
No.
yourself.
Just
Okay.
be yourself, come check it out wherever you're going and check out the local scene. The bigger the city, the not necessarily the bigger the comedy scene. You would be surprised. It really depends on the city. So, yeah.
Yeah, and so many countries. I know in Germany, everybody speaks English anyway.
Right,
You
exactly. So
know,
that's a huge advantage. If you're going to a place where people's English proficiency is really high, that's a
like
big advantage.
Amsterdam, right?
Right.
Every
Oh, absolutely. The Dutch speak fantastic English. So yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Oh, it's been such a pleasure. And I'm going to say this right now, and you're going to hold me to it. I will see you in Taiwan.
Fabulous. Let's
I
do
will
it.
see you. I will see you. We'll go out, we'll hang,
Sounds great.
and maybe jam some material. I'll let you be
Sounds great.
controlling. That'll be okay.
Fabulous. And I'm gonna pick up your book.
Oh, yes. Tell me, just we're going to be friends now. So you got to tell me I think I have a picture of the one that, but I know it's published there in Mandarin. So let me know what you find.
Yeah,
All
sure.
right. So it doesn't
All
look
right.
like people want to come up except that one strange person. Thank you all for being here. If you haven't followed me, please follow me. We're having some wonderful things coming up. We're going to be having some Zoom workshops and really helping you find what I call, he calls your shtick, I call your niche. And oh, by the way, before we go, are there corporate gigs abroad? Like,
Depends on where you are. There
yeah,
there can be, but I don't think I mean certainly in places in Asia for perhaps not, but in maybe in Europe, I don't know.
interesting.
But
All
no,
right.
yeah.
Take care. Have a great week. Thank you so
Thanks,
much for
Judy. Bye
joining
everyone.
me.
Yep. See
It's
you.
been a
Bye.
pleasure. Bye bye.